Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and in tonight's movie review, I'm going to be doing a movie review on this really rare movie that came out in 1989 and was released by Orion Pictures and MGM, and that's going to be on Great Balls of Fire, named after the Jerry Lee Lewis song of the same name that was featured in both Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. So, in Great Balls of Fire, Dennis Quaid and Winona Ryder star in a biography drama, Great Balls of Fire, directed by Jim McBride. Dennis Quaid plays rock and roll legend Jerry Lee Lewis in a film that traces his rise to fame and a scandalous personal life, including his marriage to his 13-year-old cousin, Myra Gale Brown. Seated comfortably between soap opera and docudrama, Great Balls of Fire offers the viewer a look inside the life of a gifted artist and his rise in the music world. But what goes up? Featured in supporting roles are Alec Baldwin as Lee's cousin, Lee's cousin Jimmy Swaggart. Yep, Trey Wilson as legendary music producer Sam Phillips, and Stephen Tobolowsky as music promoter Judd Phillips, with Lisa Blount and John Doe as Myra's parents. Yeah. That's pretty much, what Great Balls of Fire is about. So during my trip to the Outer Banks, I actually watched this movie on DVD on my DVD player in the car on my way to the Outer Banks like last week. And I gotta say, since this movie, Great Balls of Fire, is actually a really rare movie, the reason I call this movie rare is because this movie's is pretty much underrated when you think about it, because not that much people really talk about Great Balls of Fire, and I actually find it to be one of the most underrated films of the late 80s. Because I actually thought it was a really enjoyable film, and I really liked it. And plus, just like Dogma, Great Balls of Fire cannot be available anywhere on streaming platforms. It's like, if you try to look it up on either streaming service that you have, it's not there. I also tried looking it up on demand as well, but Great Balls of Fire wasn't there. So I actually got it on DVD, and I'm actually glad that I got the DVD so I can watch it, because I really enjoyed it. And even the cast members, I gotta say that the cast members in this movie actually did a good job. I gotta say, Dennis Quaid actually did a pretty good job playing Jerry Lee Lewis. And Winona Ryder, she did good. And Alec Baldwin, he was great in the film. I liked Alec Baldwin in this movie. And Jim McBride, who directed the film, I think he did a pretty solid job directing Great Balls of Fire. Jim McBride, especially since I consider Great Balls of Fire as Jerry Lee Lewis's best song that I've known. And like I said, which the song itself was featured in the Top Gun movies, both Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, with the character Goose, and of course Miles Teller in Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, because even the soundtrack, the songs in this movie, I think are really good, especially by the real Jerry Lee Lewis. And I gotta say, the songs in this movie were great. It had a good soundtrack, and when you really think about it, it's like I said, Great Balls of Fire from 1989 is actually one of the most underrated films of the late 80s, because there's hardly that much people who really talk about this movie, and which is one of the things why I find this movie very underrated, and one of the reasons why I think Great Balls of Fire, the movie, needs more appreciation. I think a lot of people need to watch this movie, and ever since the real Jerry Lee Lewis died last year in 2022, yeah, rest in peace, Jerry Lee Lewis. I gotta say, most people out there need to check this movie out. And, yeah. So, overall, Great Balls of Fire was really great. And I'm gonna give Great Balls of Fire 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I recommend it. And there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for my movie review on Great Balls of Fire. And that's going to be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying, goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.